Conqueror's Haki is the strongest and rarest form of Haki that signifies that the user has the quality of a king. Characters can exert their own willpower over others to the point of knocking them out cold without lifting a finger. They can also take over a person's psyche to intimidate them, and the most skilled users can even infuse their attacks with Conqueror's Haki to increase the damage done by an insane degree. Only 1 in a million people are born with it, and the only way to make this Haki stronger is by becoming stronger yourself. And so far, there are only 18 Conqueror's Haki users in the entire series. Also, after explaining each character, we'll be ranking them based on how strong their Conqueror's Haki is. First up, it's not every day you come across someone who can give Luffy a run for his money. But guess what? Eustace Kid is doing just that. Until he met Shanks. As the captain of the Kid Pirates, he's been a key player in the series as a member of the Worst Generation and as one of the pirates that defeated the Yonko Big Mom. It was confirmed by Kaido that Kid is a user of Conqueror's Haki. However, we really didn't get to see him use it, and now that he was defeated by Shanks with a single attack, we're starting off with D tier. Currently, there are only 3 women who can use all 3 types of Haki, and Boa Hancock is one of them. As a queen and the captain of the Kuja Pirates, it's kind of expected that she'd have the ability to use Conqueror's Haki. It's a special power that only those with a royal vibe can pull off, so it's only natural that Boa Hancock would be a great user at using its most unique form. Although she hasn't shown off her Conqueror's Haki in any battles, I've got a feeling that's about to change real soon. She did use Conqueror's Haki in the One Piece game, but since we haven't seen it, we'll just have to put her in D tier. Before the Whole Cake Island arc, fans didn't know much about high-level Haki usage, but then Monkey D. Luffy had a face-off with Charlotte Katakuri. Katakuri is really good at using armament and observation Haki, but he's not as good with Conqueror's Haki, but he can still use it when he needs to. Like when Charlotte Flampe messed up his fight with Luffy, Katakuri just used his technique, and weaker opponents were out like a light. Although, compared to the other characters on the list, Charlotte Katakuri's Conqueror's Haki is on the weaker side of things, and because he relies more on his observation Haki, he's in B tier. As the daughter of Kaido, it would not be surprising to see Yamato on this list. On top of their natural strength, Yamato can use Conqueror's Haki, which was inherited from Kaido. As a kid, Yamato was already seen to be able to use Conqueror's Haki. After years of practice, Yamato can now infuse their weapon with this powerful energy. You can see that when she attacks, there's some black lightning. We got a chance to see Yamato fight and hold her own against Kaido, but it was nowhere near his level of mastery. We also saw her fight against Admiral Ryokugyu when she was actually able to deal damage to him, and he praised her for having powerful Haki. Still though, Yamato hasn't mastered it like the others, so B tier sounds good. It's hard to find a pirate in the New Age who seemed more destined for greatness than Portgas D. Ace. The son of Gold D. Roger showed signs of Conqueror's Haki when he was just 10 years old when he saved Luffy by letting out a rageful scream. By the time the story of One Piece kicks off, he might have already mastered it, but we just didn't see him use it. Still though, if Ace didn't die, I presume he would be one of the more masterful users of this ability. He just had to be a donut, so we can just place him in a reasonable C tier. Now, let's talk about the Heavenly Demon. With his larger-than-life personality, it's no wonder he possesses the rarest form of Haki. Remember his showdown with the G5 Marines on Punk Hazard? Doflamingo intentionally used his Conqueror's Haki to instantly knock out the less formidable opponents. We've also seen him in a Conqueror's Haki clash against Luffy where their collided kicks sent out massive waves of black lightning. What's impressive about Doflamingo is his ability to consciously use his Conqueror's Haki, showing a level of mastery that many other users of this rare technique can't match. He first tapped into this form of Haki when he was just a kid, only 10 years old, so he's had loads of time to get the hang of it. With all that in mind, I say B tier is the best fit for him. There was a time when Qinzhao was seen as a match for both the hero of the Marines, Monkey D. Garp, and the king of the pirates, Gold D. Roger. So it's no shocker that this retired pirate can wield a powerful force like Conqueror's Haki. When we first meet Qinzhao, he's in the middle of a gladiator tournament fighting for the Mera Nomi. He takes out several opponents by just flexing his willpower alone. That's a level of skill with Conqueror's Haki that not many in One Piece can match, especially since his enemies were not just fodder. Although he's not as strong as the others on this list, we could say he definitely belongs in B tier too. Moving on to the strongest woman in the One Piece world. Big Mom is just unrivaled in power, but not in beauty. When it comes to Haki, Big Mom is top-notch. She showed off her Conqueror's Haki on many occasions, especially during the Whole Cake Island arc. Her Conqueror's Haki is so intense that it can actually damage the area around her by simply crying out in agony. She can also infuse it within herself, something we don't usually get to see. Remember when she clashed with Kaido? Their fight was so powerful it literally split the skies of Wano. Now that's power. And as a former Emperor of the Sea, she's basically A tier. Next is Silver's Rayleigh, the right-hand man of the Pirate King. This guy is no joke. He's a seriously strong fighter that even in his old age was able to fight an admiral. Judging by his reputation on the Grand Line, he's considered one of the most skilled users of Conqueror's Haki in the whole series. It's even said that Rayleigh's Conqueror's Haki is more than double the strength of Luffy's during the Fishman Island arc. This means he could instantly knock over 100,000 New World pirates just like that. Plus, Rayleigh has the ability to choose who he wants to attack with his Conqueror's Haki. His knowledge and usage of this power makes him a serious threat and an amazing teacher, as demonstrated by him teaching Luffy how to control and use all 3 types of Haki in only 2 years. We also recently saw him flex his Conqueror's Haki against Blackbeard in order to save Boa Hancock. This demonstration was so badass, and it was a true demonstration of the kind of monster he really is. Just by his feats alone, we might have to rank him in A tier. As a samurai, Odin was in a league of his own, especially when it came to generating Conqueror's Haki. Sure, Kozuki Odin's armament Haki was his main strength, but his showdowns with Whitebeard and Kaido showed he could handle Conqueror's Haki too. Even though he didn't win against either of them, the scar he left on Kaido is a testament to Odin's powerful spirit. Because he's just so powerful, we might just have to put Odin on A tier. Being a Yonko meant that Whitebeard had mastered a lot of fighting techniques, including Haki. He was a pro at using all 3 types of Haki, and being the most powerful of the 4 Yonko, it's no surprise that he was a master of Conqueror's Haki. When he went head-to-head with Shanks, his Haki was so powerful it split the skies. And when he clashed with Gold D. Roger, their Conqueror's Haki was so intense it cracked the air and was so powerful that if you were there, you'd most likely get blown away. We didn't get a chance to see Whitebeard use Conqueror's Haki much in the current storyline due to his illness, but in his prime, Whitebeard was known as the strongest man alive, and with a bounty of 5,046,000,000 berries, he was only second to Roger, the king of pirates. Whitebeard also had the ability to infuse himself and his weapons with Conqueror's Haki, drastically increasing his power to deal devastating damage. He's just a legendary character overall, and with his stats and power, he deserves to be above the rest in S tier. We haven't seen much of him in action, but we did catch a glimpse of him during the Marineford War. Although we didn't get to see the full extent of Sengoku's powers since he hasn't been featured much in the anime, he's a legend, rubbing shoulders with big names like Shiki, Garp, and even Whitebeard during Gold D. Roger's era. Now, it's common knowledge among the Marines that anyone with the rank of Vice Admiral or higher has Haki and has mastered it. But Sengoku is one of the rare Conqueror's Haki users in the Marines, and in my opinion, it's as strong as Luffy's or Rayleigh's. Even though we didn't witness it, I bet he's around A tier. Also known as the world's strongest creature, Kaido is one of the Yonko, and even if Luffy defeated him, he's undoubtedly still on the highest tiers when it comes to Conqueror's Haki mastery. Kaido also has a rare ability through it, which is by infusing it into his weapons and attacks. Unlike the usual use of Conqueror's Haki, which is to overpower others' will, Kaido mainly uses it to boost his attacks. It only took one hit with his Conqueror's Haki-imbued Kanabo to knock Luffy out cold during their first battle, and Luffy was in Gear 4. He can also use Conqueror's Haki as a defensive aura, meaning the only way to damage him is to be an advanced user of Conqueror's Haki, who can also coat their attacks with it, which is something most of the characters on this list can't do, so he's on the higher end of A tier. So if you like what you're seeing and also want Conqueror's Haki, make sure to like, subscribe, and share this with your friends. The Pirate King would obviously make the list of the Conqueror's Haki users, but Roger's unwavering ambition to leave a legacy probably made his Conqueror's Haki unparalleled. With the highest bounty of any pirate in the series, Roger was able to control the seas with just his Haki, as he was not a Devil Fruit user, further cementing his godly status within the story. During his battle against Whitebeard, Roger's sword, which he named Ace in tribute to his only son, and Whitebeard's weapon, was enveloped in the powerful aura of Conqueror's Haki that they couldn't even touch each other. Their initial clash was so strong it created a shockwave that blew the Moby Dick to its side and even blew Odin away with just one strike. He's so good at using Conqueror's Haki that he's one of the only characters who can release slashes of it from his weapon using a move called Divine Departure. The attack sent the powerful Odin flying and left him utterly confused as to what he was hit with. So much like Whitebeard, he deserves to be an S tier. Zoro is not your average guy, and all he has cared about is becoming the best swordsman in the world. So when Kaido questioned him about using Conqueror's Haki in his last attack against him, Zoro was left scratching his head, as he had no idea what Kaido was talking about, even though he'd been unknowingly using it for a while at this point. Remember his fight with King? Zoro finally gave in to Enma and poured all his Haki into the sword, finally unlocking his Conqueror's Haki, as evident by the black lightning surrounding all three of his swords. With this new power, he was finally able to damage King, making him go on the defensive. Zoro used this newly acquired power to defeat King, making him one of the strongest characters in the series, especially among the swordsmen of the verse. In terms of Conqueror's Haki application, Zoro might just be a genius, as he can consciously use it by mastering it in the duration of one battle alone. This means he's at the top of B tier, but we know this ranking will be higher in the future. Everyone knows about Luffy's Conqueror's Haki skills during the Fishman Island arc, when he knocked out 50,000 fishmen. But after his showdown with Kaido on Wano, his technique has leveled up big time. Luffy's got potential like no one else in One Piece, as stated by Rayleigh when he noticed that Luffy had a natural talent for learning Haki. Luffy is one of the few characters to master the basic applications of all three types of Haki, and he did it in less than 2 years. Pre-time skip, we saw Luffy using Conqueror's Haki several times without him even knowing, like when he knocked out several Kuja pirates, and when he knocked out hundreds of soldiers to stop Ace from being executed. Post-time skip, we see his mastery of Conqueror's Haki grow exponentially. His will is so unwavering that he knocked out a bunch of Kaido's crew while he was out cold. During his second fight with Kaido, he figured out how to infuse himself with Conqueror's Haki, which powered up his offensive and defensive abilities tremendously, even to the point where he can hit his opponent without physically touching them, a feat we've only seen the strongest pirates in the series achieve. During his third battle against Kaido, we see them clash with Conqueror's Haki so strong, their unwavering wills literally split the sky apart, officially making Luffy a pirate with a power level of a Yonko. With this new advanced application of Conqueror's Haki, he has the power to fight against the strongest pirates in the verse, so he's officially joined the ranks of the strongest characters in One Piece and one of the strongest Conqueror's Haki users. And because of that, we'll rank him at the top of A tier. We expect Luffy to only get stronger moving forward, so you will definitely see him in the S tier soon. Garp, the hero of the Marines and one of the most badass Marines there is. For most of the series, we've never really seen Garp use Conqueror's Haki, but that changed during the Egghead Island arc. In Chapter 1080, he used Galaxy Impact, an attack infused with Conqueror's Haki with the iconic black lightning that enveloped the entire island. With this attack, he single-handedly destroyed a town without physically touching it. He might be old, but just like the others on this list, old men can become really dangerous. So where does Garp rank? Well, since that's the only scene we saw him use it, I'd say max would be A tier. But being the rival of the Pirate King in his prime, he might be S tier. We'd need to see more footage though before we can put him with the rest of the legends at the top. Speaking of Conqueror's Haki, we're left with our last and perhaps most iconic user, Shanks. He relies solely on Haki in battle. Now, when it comes to Conqueror's Haki, Shanks is possibly the top dog in One Piece. He even managed to paralyze Admiral Ryokugyu, one of the toughest Marines out there, with his Conqueror's Haki from miles away. Not only that, he was able to make Ryokugyu revert back to his normal form and was also able to talk to him directly through his Haki. Talk about flexing some power. And that's not all. He's also the second person to use Conqueror's Haki as a long-range attack, seeing as he used Roger's Divine Departure against Eustace Kid and defeated him in one go. He's probably the character that we've seen use Conqueror's Haki the most, and that just proves how strong he really is. It's been stated that with his use of Conqueror's Haki, Shanks has the ability to nullify an opponent's use of Future Sight and is known as the killer of Observation Haki. So far, he is the only person with this ability. We also saw Shanks flex his Haki against the Marines in Film Red, where he even made 2 admirals succumb to his will and retreat from battle. To end this video, Shanks stands with the legends in S tier as the best user of Conqueror's Haki in the current story. So that's a wrap on our exploration of the 18 Conqueror's Haki users in One Piece. Make sure to like, subscribe, and click the notification bell for more videos like this one. Also, comment down below which user you think is the strongest. See you on the next one.